Welcome to Rumbo Minero. Welcome, Cesar. How are you?
Nice to see you.
My name is Jorge Leon. Cesar Campos and I are going to develop. The following program from Rumbo Minero features the former president of Petroperú, Mr. Narváez, as our guest. We will be discussing various topics with him, starting with his insights and experiences. He has an opinion on what should be done with Petroperú, more positive than what many of us Peruvians currently have. But we are going to break down a little bit, Cesar, what could potentially happen with Petroperú.
He was always confronting the figures. Yes, that was the approach that Dr. Alejandro Narváez maintained while leading Petroperú. We will also receive a thorough economic analysis by Luis Miguel Castilla, former Minister of Finance, to provide further insights, economy and finance, and also from Videnza Institute, to know the impacts it also has on mining and the extension, and perpetually concerning this debate over the MAPI law and perhaps the extension of the reinfo in the Congress of the Republic.
This is a call, of course, to Congressman Cutipa, right? Chairman of the Commission.
Victor?
We weren't born yesterday to not realize they are delaying the issue to try to expand the information, Congressman Guido Bellido, who we invited to this program as well. We realize they are trying to prolong the reinforcement, and I don't think that's the way. We need to lay our cards on the table and start having a mature conversation, and not at the last minute when they are already leaving office to start trying to introduce the reinfo, boring the committee and dragging out the timelines. Correct? I believe it holds significance. Rumbo Minero is consistently willing to engage in conversations. Coming up next, we have a report prepared by the Rumbo Minero team. Let's get started.
Petroperú is facing increased uncertainty as they undergo financial restructuring following recent measures introduced by the Ministry of Economy and Finance, marking a new chapter in their operations, in general management and the board of directors. One of the main challenges will be to appoint the person responsible for leading the comprehensive transformation of the company. The first attempt was deemed a failure, so a second round is expected in mid-November, aiming to complete the selection process by the third week of December. No significant changes are anticipated in the new call for applications. Without this key figure, moving forward solidly in the restructuring will become increasingly complex. During the previous management, led by Alejandro Narváez, Petroperú reduced its operating expenses by 30% and achieved a positive EBITDA, a pivotal moment following several years of accumulated losses. Moving forward, the state-owned company must consolidate these advances, strengthening its governance. Strengthening transparency in its operations is crucial for rebuilding trust with both the market and the public, serving as key elements for ensuring long-term sustainability.
As previously announced, we are delighted to welcome Mr. Alejandro Narváez, the former president of Petroperú, as our newest member. Shall we talk about the current situation of Petroperú? How are you doing, Mr. Narváez?
Hi, Jorge. Morning. Okay. Hi, Cesar. Morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Thank you. Tell us a little bit, what were the technical differences that led to his departure? Can you provide more details on what happened? In this new government, they are also talking about definitely Petroperú is a... As a pro, there were always the two options, right? Between us continuing with Petroperú and the other one was with the rescues. And the position now is that there are several very different positions, right? That really it can no longer continue. There are other voices that talk about giving employees the management as part, I suppose, of its settlements, the management of Petroperú. The thing is that we have a big problem, and there are many solutions available, yet they are quite dissimilar. Welcome.
It is a common occurrence for changes to take place with the arrival of a new administration. Typically, when there is a change in the general shareholders meeting, adjustments are made. They changed the director and obviously the president too, right? And I was completely prepared for that. However, the occurrence didn't happen. According to Law 28,840, if I recall correctly, and Decree 43 and the company statutes, they did not summon me to explain. Tell him. What is the current state of affairs? I would have liked the new shareholders, in this case, those representing the general shareholders meeting, they would have listened to me and I could have calmly explained everything and submitted my management report as is proper. It wasn't done that way. So the formalities weren't observed, and that's it. Otherwise, the company was set on the right track.
Well, indeed, it has been upheld by the President of the Council of Ministers himself, Dr. Ernesto Alvarez, who mentioned your situation. Dr. Narváez, he was removed from his position due to political reasons as he failed to provide an explanation, stating it was a direct order from the President, as you and others have mentioned. Let's say in a finer reading, beyond the questions that can be raised about his management, the ways, as you say, right? because this must have been a decision by the representatives by the executive branch, in any case, gathered in the board. That was the way.
Yes, that is the customary path that one ought to follow. This is an excessively significant enterprise to handle it in the manner in which they proceeded, wouldn't you agree? Regardless, I did what needed to be done no matter what. I left, I stress, a company moving forward with positive results in terms of EBITDA and a positive gross margin this year.
We can do a little of that regarding being on the right track. Let's see, because the balances are quite critical. Regarding the fact that I even heard Pedro Gamio Aita mention it, who served on a prior board of directors, acknowledge what you have been stating here at Rumbo Minero. Sometimes it seems like it could have been shortened, don't you think? The debt thereby generating a profitability that was sufficient to cover some of the outstanding obligations that it had. But despite all that, the third quarter has accumulated $355 million in debts. And according to others, it says that the net refining done with the new unit of the Talara refinery does not reach the necessary margin to cover it.
Yes. The thing is that we are carrying over a hefty debt from past exercises, around $2 billion in losses, or rather, a negative working capital of $1.9 billion, right? Reversing that quickly is very hard, isn't it? In the world of business, miracles are not something that occurs frequently. So we did what we could, and I think the numbers are there. Last year there was an opinion from the Pricewaterhouse audit. This year, the company is displaying clear signs of improvement and stability. The data supports this, showing a noticeable recovery. Our reports to the SMV also reflect this positive trend.
How did you manage to stabilize? With near bankruptcy figures and Petroperu's substantial debts,
Jorge,
it seemed like a challenging task.
Of course, yes. And it is a debt.
As you yourself have said, that's truly the case. Well, you see, it's you inherited that, right? I'm not saying these are several administrations, but I do not have any issues with it being a firm. My disagreement lies in the fact that it's a firm almost failing because of him. Because really, to pay what it owes, how many years will this take?
See?
Countless years if it continues to seek rescues.
Let's see, Jorge. First, the debt currently held by Petroperú stems directly from the construction of the refinery. The refinery cost, the $6 billion was the cost, let's say, of building the refinery. And how much useful life does the refinery have? 60 to 70 years. If I project cash flow for 60, 70 years, I'll recover the investment in 25 years, 70 years. That's the reality. In the business realm, that's how it operates. Therefore, that debt, for example, the syndicated loan, which was $1,300 million, we are practically halfway now. We have already contributed approximately $800 million. The remaining portion consists of the bonds, which are valued at about $3 billion US, which are paying their interest on schedule. The principal will be paid when it starts to come due. Hence, the handling of such enormous debts is effectively accomplished. It is clear that our negative working capital continues from past years, with our short-term liabilities exceeding our short-term assets. This imbalance needs to be addressed immediately. This creates a problem with the flow of cash.
Yes, exercises. We acknowledge the past. We both agree, indeed. Absolutely no.
So this...
We are not criticizing the previous administration. The core issue here is, okay, now we know where we stand. No more rescues. Many have said no, there won't be any more rescues, but they did raise it. So, what is the route by which no ransoms will be demanded? Because they are necessary.
I have to admit, when it comes to business, I truly know my stuff. And I say this with absolute confidence, not a hint of false modesty. What the company needs right now is to restructure those debts. And that is perfectly possible. Together with the shareholder, we are not asking for a single cent of fresh money from them, just to restructure, reschedule, and refinance it. If we do that properly, I believe the company has a great future. The figures are there, and that's what we have been doing. I don't know if the current management will keep that policy. The direction is clearly defined, and this year is entirely different regarding numbers compared to last year. These indicate that the company has successfully stabilized itself. Let's continue on a positive trajectory as EBITDA for the third quarter surpasses $45 million, showing promising growth ahead. And it is a key indicator to gauge good or poor management.
Now, the very fact that the restructuring process has been frustrated in any event, considering the decree
13.
2024, where 3 companies had applied and have been disqualified, and there are talks of others that probably could not meet the qualification. Finally, there are also those who would not express any interest. About to explode. Similarly, in the case of Upland, it has been disqualified from the exploitation of Lot 192. And the Z69 and the Continental Zocalo, it is going to continue under the control of Petroperú. Some indicate that there is no longer any interest in Petroperú. It is not appealing to anyone, as it no longer reports because of the accumulated losses. To address challenges related to both restructuring and exploiting opportunities.
Cesar, you are somewhat familiar with the company, and I believe it is worthwhile to distinguish our viewpoint from that of other talking
So I
heads.
asked.
First this. The announcement of the international bidding process for the complete overhaul that is practically a very common occurrence. It's a very complex process that I believe the companies that applied didn't have the right profile. The good notice was not achieved, but now they are calling for it again. We are hoping that there will be a company that takes responsibility for this extremely important work. 1. 2. We approved the forensic audit topic, which was also a concern of mine at the board meeting, and the contract was awarded. The contract was awarded on the 10th of this month, and that will be audited. In this case, the investment that was made in the Talara refinery is part of Block 192 under Peru Petro's jurisdiction. Unfortunately, I don't know what Peru Petro is doing. I don't know what role it has. I don't know the direction this state-owned company is taking. And the only thing it has done is put up barriers. In reality, now it is time for the speech regarding the oil production by Upland in Lot 8, where they have been operating for a considerable period, has much experience. He says, according to Petroperú, that it lacks financial backing, economic backing, and therefore it was disqualified. So, and there is a risk rating agency that does say it is a solvent company, financially and economically. Therefore, there is a debatable issue there, right?
Your stance is evident. Thank you, Mr. Narváez, for staying on course with the mining project.
Thanks, Jorge. Thanks, Cesar.
We're going to a commercial break and we'll return.
In a modernized society, prioritizing safety is essential. At Manrique Industries, a leading Peruvian company, we recognize that safety starts from the ground up, beginning with your feet. Each step you take in an industrial setting can pose risks. Therefore, Manrique Industries prioritizes safety by producing footwear that meets international safety regulations. Our products are crafted using strong materials and advanced technology to ensure durability and protection. Each pair is designed to withstand the rigors of the industrial environment.
Originating from New York, our exploration expands to the global scale within the American mining industry. Wall Street, New York, with José Gonzáles, editor of the international section of our magazine Rumbo Minero. José, as always, welcome to the program.
Pleased to meet you, Cesar. Always a pleasure.
We heard news. We urge for your substantial contribution to the development with significant impact. The President of Botswana has announced concrete steps to acquire the complete shares, that is 100% of the world's largest diamond mining company. Explain to us how it's going.
The President of Botswana has cancelled his acquisition plan, as you noted. The majority participation held by De Beers, considering that Anglo-American PLC is seeking to divest its shareholding, which is 85%. The country's president has said that concrete measures are being taken for the acquisition of shares in Anglo-American in De Beers. Anglo-American is dismantling it as part of a significant restructuring that started 18 months ago. And Botswana relies on the sale of diamonds for 80% of its total exports, you see. At the same time, there is a question. Why is De Beers looking to sell? There is a deep crisis in the diamond market with strong competition from cheaper synthetic stones. The recession has greatly impacted diamond production in Botswana, leading to disruptions in the majority of the country's output. Nevertheless, for the Botswana government, diamonds will remain a crucial foundation for the growth and transformation of the nation. The president has mentioned engaging in discussions with multiple parties and mentioned the possibility of obtaining financing from an investment fund for the acquisition from Oman. Nevertheless, Botswana is encountering competition in the acquisition of De Beers, considering the board of Ndiama EP. The Angolan state diamond producer has declared its interest in purchasing 100% of the company. Both nations are in talks to see if a joint purchase could be made, but it is not official. On the other hand, Namibia, a neighbor producer of diamonds near Botswana and Angola might buy 15% of De Beers, Anglo American, as we mentioned, owns 85% of the shares that Botswana seeks to acquire, which would result in the nationalization of the biggest diamond producer globally. The company's worth is estimated at $5 billion. However, according to UBS analysts, the transaction will ultimately amount to bring in between $3 and $4 billion. There are 6 additional potential buyers besides those mentioned. De Beers directors. The Indian company is known as KGK Group and Kapu Gems, along with Qatari funds and the multimillionaire Anil Agarwala.
That nationalization process in Africa is interesting, as you mentioned, Jose. Furthermore, we know that the U.S. Geological Survey has just formally published its new list of critical minerals, adding 10, which would constitute a significant collection in discuss the critical mineral issue. Share some information about this inventory.
The previously announced new list, which we had mentioned a few weeks ago, has now been formalized, and definitively copper and silver are being added to it. And there are 10 new metals added to the list. When compared to the year 2022, the notable materials include uranium, metallurgical coal, potash, rhenium, silicon, and lead. The list has been created, as we noted earlier, introducing a new model that highlights the potential threats to the economy of North America posed by these essential minerals, specifically for local businesses, especially within the country. This list is foundational for establishing state policies, especially regarding tariffs, on behalf of the Trump administration and to guide critical mineral investments toward the future, in addition to accelerating mining permits.
Thank you very much, Jose, for providing us with all of this valuable information and data, as you always do. We will be sure to stay in touch with you from Wall Street in New York next week.
A pleasure.
It was Jose Gonzáles, editor of the international section of Rumbo Minero magazine, that you can read and review not only regarding everything we discussed here with Jose Gonzáles from Wall Street, New York. Besides addressing urgent concerns in mining, there are also other crucial issues to tackle in the sector. You can also download it for free online, available without charge on the internet, by visiting the website www.rumbominero.com. Mining Route, the leading industry magazine. A short break and we'll be right back.
Expomina Peru returns, the top mining event of 2026, opening September 9th through 11th at the Jockey Exhibition Center. More than 1,380 stands, international delegations, and the latest technology for mining, with purchase intentions exceeding $700 million. The 8th American Mining Summit, organized by Roque Benavides during Expomina and overseen by Carlos Castro, is set to take place. Roque Benavides, who serves as the executive president of the Buenaventura Mining Company, will be leading the proceedings, with business meetings and international congresses allied with CESCO and the Mining, Metallurgy, and Exploration Society. Attention suppliers, secure your stand and join the most significant mining fair of 2026. Make a smart investment, invest with the leaders. For more details, visit expominaperu.com.
As previously mentioned, we are currently joined by Miguel Castilla. He will be discussing his roles as the former Minister of Economy and Finance and the Director of Videnza. Let's delve into the conversation. Miguel, how are you?
Hey, Jorge, what's up? Glad
Welcome
to be here.
Rumbo Minero. We have seen a bit of this topic of certain adjustments in this government of Sherry, economic ones, right? The minister came out to talk about economic adjustments, about not caring enough. However, the fiscal discipline you mentioned at CADE was important. We could have benefited from a bit more fiscal discipline. Which direction is this brief government heading in, given its short duration until July? Let's delve into the topic of a remarkably brief government. But do you think the measures that have been taken are sufficient? Do you think we need to take more measures, and what kind of measures are needed for the fiscal arrangement part to be correct?
Let's see. To begin with, I think that for me, I am happy that once again a skilled person is leading the MF. I believe the indications he's shown until now are quite encouraging. From the Petroperú issue to the issue of resuming the plan for unblocking deregulation in the sectors, these are signs that they are appropriate, and I appreciate their proximity and knowledge of the regions. She worked a lot on the issue of works for taxes in regions, and they know her as a manager who knows the ground. From a financial perspective, he enacted an urgent decree. With savings of 1,200 million sols for the rest of the year,
That is let's say, a drop in the ocean. To give an idea, the budget, public spending, is around 250,000 million sols. So 1,200 million sols won't significantly change anything. The positive aspect is the indication that it is crucial to follow fiscal regulations. Because so far the fiscal improvement is not due to spending, it is because we have had extraordinary fiscal revenues facing the mining boom that the country is experiencing. This, on one front. I, on the other hand, express disappointment with the inconsistency. One moment they declare an urgent decree, the next they retract it. And the next day they raise the salary, they double the salary of the diplomats and other specific groups. So
The court also expressed regret over the situation.
that's right, so neither of them will really matter in terms of the amount. It's consistency. And obviously, in response to your question, Jorge, if this begins to correct the public accounts, no. I mean, it is necessary to implement many, many more actions. In the background, and I believe that the most profound thing that I have heard up to this point, I hope there is greater proactivity from the Premier to go back to the TC so that the TC can once again set the field's boundary much more clearly concerning the spending initiative of the legislature.
There are 299 laws approved according to the Fiscal Council, which you know well since the year 2021 to date. 101 by insistence of Congress. And where the government, Dina Boluarte is the economy minister, everyone feigned ignorance. And they weren't reaching the TC just to correct those attributions from Congress.
It's convenient for them to adopt a playing dead posture as they argue that they do not have enough votes to push through reforms. The observation of the project will prevail. One essential problem within our legal system, for example, lies in the distribution of powers and the checks and balances. When there are disputes, they go to the Constitutional Court through an unconstitutionality claim. That hasn't happened. The last to do it was the transitional administration. Back in the time of Waldo Mendoza, since that point, there hasn't even been a single attempt, and what we've seen is a significant weakening of the MF and precisely the failure to fight back before the Constitutional Court. And in the meantime, the court has given interpretations that open the door of the fiscal box to the legislators. Today I just came from an event with politicians closed, and here they are proposing an increase from 50 to 100%. They expect a law that mandates salary increases ranging from 50 to 100%. Starting from the 26th, that is constitutional under the interpretation of the Constitutional Court. Because it does not affect this year 25, but if it affects 26, it doesn't matter.
At the moment, we are anticipating the approval of the legislation regarding deeper reforms and the financial allocation, which are crucial to uphold the existing populist trend in our current situation.
Correct. So again, I think the signs are appropriate. There is a more technical handling, recognition of progress through action, not just announcements. And I like that about the minister and her credentials. But the fiscal issue is a matter that goes beyond the Ministry of Economy and Finance. It involves Congress, the Executive, the Constitutional Court, who are obviously the key players in putting the order back again. To finances.
You're named Petroperú's president. Want it or not, you're named president of Petroperú. What do you do with Petroperú?
I'll settle it.
The liquid...
It has arrived. It has arrived at a point where, since solving the governance problems is going to be very difficult, which is what lies at the heart of the matter, and decisions are not being taken, policies concerning what we should actually do with that company. And the ministers keep kicking the can down the road for the previous president or the former president to decide what now. We're going to be in the same situation indefinitely.
Politically speaking, excuse me, it would be, let's say, something negative for a politician who is pointed out for having liquidated Petroperú.
Well, that is the option that I think we need to put on the table now, because as long as that isn't discussed, what does that mean? What does that mean in bankruptcy terms? Who are Petroperú's creditors? I mean, there's an issue that goes beyond a simple liquidation of some company in a specific sector. There are many things currently underway here, and there are many amounts involved. But what I notice is that it failed for them and the competition for a private administrator was left vacant. I understand it's due to a lack of, there was a very costly proposal that exceeded the base terms of that competition. I understand that the board has not been able to refresh. Nobody is willing to venture into that particular directory precisely because of that lack of direction and clarity on this issue. So if I were in that position, what I would do is, well, an outline of trying to divest the less valuable assets, you see, the ones that are less problematic, to make them like a kind of split from that, and the remainder of that, I will settle it completely. And based on that decision, you can draw in private capital, indeed, that is interested in entering, in a joint venture without the dead weight and with control, because the private sector keeps 51% control. There, things simply do not function.
Okay.
So I think a model like that could be the solution. It obviously requires a lot of political capital, which we don't see. And there are also work commitments. The unions are very strong. This could move the north a bit. Piura is emblematic. Talara for them, the voting process in Congress regarding laws connected to Petroperú.
We have to make a decision at this moment.
Because otherwise that dead dog attitude doesn't help at all.
Okay. Thanks to Luis Miguel Castilla, the former Minister of Economy and Finance and Director of Evidence Institutes. Thanks.
So kind.
Come on, let's go now to Iván Arenas, who is with the Mining and Society Working Group. Please proceed.
Do you know how many miners have been formalized in the last few months by the Ministry of Energy and Mines? Just 64 miners. Of the 31,560 reminers, only the Ministry of Energy and Mines has managed to formalize 64 miners, just as you hear it. This is a topic highly complex, but this also shows that, as you are aware, the reinforcement will have to be expanded, whether we like it or not. Why? Because on the 31st of December of this year, the date this reinfo expired, we are not going to formalize the 31,000 reinforcements that exist. This is essentially a breakdown in the formalization process and confirms the huge failure in the reinforcement. How long will it last? Extend the reinforcement. Someone like Congressman Pasion Davila from the Congressional Commission. Well, the Energy and Mines Committee should be extended for further consideration. 10 years, or in any case, to 20. Others want it for 2 or 3 years. It's not a matter of how long the reinforcement lasts, but rather when. Nevertheless, there's another crucial aspect to consider. Congressman Guido Bellido has now put forward the idea of reopening the reinfo once again. He doesn't just want a perpetual reinfo anymore. On top of that, he wants to open the reinfo to new miners. Do you know what that means? To start over. Commence the process of formalization once more from the beginning. That would obviously be a failure. If that happens, the formalization of small and medium mining would be nothing more than a utopia. We will keep discussing this in the next few days. Thank you very much.
In every mining community, there is talent waiting to be nurtured. We strive to ensure they are well prepared from day one and offer ongoing training tailored to their specific needs. Efficiency, sustainability, and reputation all together. Sedamin, your ally in productivity with a purpose.
In the realm of industry, ensuring safety is of utmost importance. At Industrias Manrique, a prominent Peruvian organization, we recognize that safety measures originate with proper foot protection. Each move taken within an industrial zone comes with potential hazards. This is the reason why at Industrias Manrique, we ensure that our safety shoes, made with the most durable materials and cutting-edge technology, meet the highest global safety standards in the industry. Each pair is designed to withstand the rigors of the industrial environment.
Thanks. Always appreciated like this. Thank you, Cesar, for being here with us today. Your presence is greatly appreciated.
Okay, thanks.
Don't forget to register for Expo Mina. Reserve your booth space. Our significant mining fair is close to reaching 80% in sales. By next September, we expect to maintain the same rate. If you are a supplier or interested in becoming one for the mining industry, don't miss out on this opportunity. Then go to www.expominaperu.com. We would like to extend our thanks on behalf of Rumbo Minero for joining us and extend an invitation to follow us next weekend on the same channel. Your support is truly appreciated. Thank you so much for being with us.